Clear Sky isn't just a game, it's a test. A test of patience, of focus, and of whether you can survive without losing your mind. And finally, I've got around to making a video about Clear Sky. For those who don't know, let me give you some quick context. Somehow, I totally missed out on the legendary Stalker trilogy back in the day, and now I've decided it's time to fix that. And man, I've got a lot to say. After finishing Shadow of Chernobyl, I was really hyped for a continuation, but then, surprise, it turns out Clear Sky is actually a prequel, and it feels different. Not worse, just different. So in this video, I'll tell you everything. What I loved, what drove me crazy, and everything in between. Now, I'm not some hardcore expert or diehard fan who knows every inch of the zone. This isn't a deep dive review, it's just my honest first-time impressions. So yeah, some things I say might be a bit off, and of course, it's all subjective, but hey, well, if you clicked on this video, I'm guessing you're into it too. Hey there, if you're enjoying the video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Alright, let's dive in. First off, I actually liked Shadow of Chernobyl. Sure, it felt a bit clunky, a little dated in places, but something about it just worked. It had that vibe. Now, I did get some flack in the comments for calling the gunplay bad. People told me, hey, back then it was actually top tier, you've just been spoiled by modern AAA shooters, and fair enough, maybe that's true, but still, the shooting is janky, no denying that, bullets fly all over the place, and half the time, you just pray something hits. Not always, of course, sometimes it feels okay, but overall, it's frustrating, and that frustration, yeah, it carried over into Clear Sky too. Now, the atmosphere, the music, the mutants, those really impressed me. I'll be honest, I went into Clear Sky with mixed expectations. Some folks say it's the weakest in the series, others swear it's underrated, so I got curious. What's it really like? Without the nostalgia goggles, but still with respect for the series, I didn't Google a thing before playing. No guides, no spoilers. I wanted to dive in the Stalker way, raw and blind. Just step into the zone and survive. The story in Clear Sky, well, it's a bit of a mess. I mean, it's there technically, but half the time you're left scratching your head trying to figure out what's actually going on. The game starts off telling you there's been a huge emission, a blowout that nearly wiped everyone out, and somehow you're the only one who survived. Then you're told you need to stop some anomalies, stabilize something, maybe even save the world. But honestly, the first few hours, I had no idea what was happening. No joke, you just follow orders, move from one place to another, shoot stuff, and only somewhere in the middle of the game, things finally start to make sense. The main character is a stalker named Scar. He's lost his memory and suffers from some serious health issues after that emission. Pretty standard protagonist material, but I won't lie, he's got a bit of a vibe, a little rough around the edges, but it works. As you go deeper into the game, you start to get hints that the zone is changing, and that's when it gets really interesting. Clear Sky introduces the faction system. Now, this is something new. You've got multiple factions, Clear Sky, Freedom, Duty, bandits, mercenaries, military, renegades, and they're all fighting each other for control. You can choose a side, help your faction capture territory, and in theory, this affects the balance of power across the zone. And honestly, the idea is fantastic, but the execution? Yeah, not so much. I don't think I'm shocking anyone when I say, it's kinda half-baked. At first it's fun, you're taking over enemy bases, helping your squad mates, doing missions, but after a while, it becomes a loop. You take a point, and 10 minutes later and it's been recaptured, and now you're forced to take it back again, rinse and repeat. At some point I was like, why am I even doing this? It's not required for the story. Still, despite how clunky it is, the faction system adds life to the game. It makes the world feel alive and dynamic. You hear gunfights in the distance, factions are constantly skirmishing, your radio's buzzing with activity. The zone doesn't feel dead, it's moving, it's changing, and of course, there's that classic Stalker moment. You accidentally hit someone with a grenade, or shoot a guy by mistake, and suddenly, the entire squad turns on you. Pure chaos. So yeah, factions in Clear Sky, amazing concept, weak execution, and especially today looking back with a modern lens, it feels a little janky and weird, but hey, it still adds something unique to the game. Speaking of firefights, let's talk about the shooting itself, and I've got mixed feelings about it. On the surface, everything seems fine, you've got rifles and bullets, enemies, you shoot, they drop, simple enough, but at the same time, something just feels off. The gunplay feels a bit floaty. The sound design, decent, but the accuracy, brutal. That's when you realize, Stalker isn't your typical shooter, it's a shooter where survival is everything, and sometimes you just have to pray for luck. This isn't the kind of game where you point, click, and win. You've gotta think, conserve ammo, hide, wait for the perfect moment, and even then, you might miss. It's frustrating, but weirdly enough, it's part of the charm. Everything's hard, everything's earned. That's just life in the zone. Another thing that really caught me off guard was the upgrade system. You can actually improve your weapons and armor, but to do that, you need to find a technician, earn some cash, and locate upgrade blueprints, which come as USB sticks. No blueprint, no upgrade. It sounds awesome in theory, but in practice, kind of a pain. When I played Stalker 2, I had the exact same feeling, like, cool, I found a flash drive, but also, why do I even need this? And if you want to upgrade a specific weapon, you basically have to Google where to find the parts. That's not fun. If Clear Sky gets a pass for it, then Stalker 2 really needs to step it up. Anyway, back to Clear Sky. To be honest, I didn't upgrade anything. I just ran through the whole game with whatever gear I scavenged off the ground. But the real surprise for me, the locations. Man, I was blown away by how diverse the zone can be. After Shadow of Chernobyl, I thought I'd seen it all. Pripyat, the NPP, abandoned villages. But Clear Sky throws you into something totally different, like the swamps. Half-flooded shacks, rusty towers, heavy fog, eerie silence, birds screeching above. It's not just a starting area, it's a full-on atmospheric experience. Then there's the Cordon, a familiar spot from the first game, but here it feels slightly different. After the oppressive swamps, the Cordon almost feels like a breather, but that doesn't last long. Dark Valley, Agroprom, Lymansk, each location has its own vibe. Some are crawling with bandits, others overrun with mutants, and some just give you this creeping feeling that something horrible is about to happen. Lymansk especially stuck with me, a ghost town where there's no one around, but you still feel watched. I loved it, and I can't wait to revisit it in the upcoming DLC, along with the Chernobyl NPP. Now, not everything is perfect. The game has a lot of empty space, but honestly, I kinda like that. It's part of the experience. The world isn't overcrowded, there's room to breathe, space to feel the tension. Sometimes all you do is walk, listen to the wind, hear the rustling bushes, and that's enough to make you feel like a real stalker. Oh, and I haven't forgotten about that one legendary moment, the machine gunner, when you're sent back to the Cordon. My god, that section nearly broke me. I spent ages trying to get through it, burned through time, nerves, and patience, and I still don't understand why it had to be that way. It felt less like a challenge and more like the devs just messing with us. Let's take a moment to talk about anomalies and artifacts. In Clear Sky, they're not just scattered around like in Shadow of Chernobyl. You actually need a detector now, and you have to step into the anomaly to retrieve the artifact. Sounds cool in theory, right? But I've gotta be honest, Clear Sky felt more like a run-and-gun shooter to me. There were so many gunfights, so many set pieces that I didn't even bother with that side of the game. I played through the whole thing without using a single artifact or upgrade. Sure, it was tough sometimes, I died a lot, but I just couldn't bring myself to care about those mechanics. Funny enough, it wasn't until I got to Call of Pripyat that I finally started to appreciate those systems. That game felt more balanced, more engaging in that sense, but we'll talk about that one in a separate video. Clear Sky, it just kind of rushed past me. Now what about the mutants? These things are terrifying, and not because of their looks, but the sounds they make. Blind dogs, boars, bloodsuckers, pseudo-dogs. You hear them before you see them. That growling, that rustling in the grass, it puts you on edge. You're already pulling out your rifle while your stomach tightens. And bloodsuckers? Oh man, those freaks are brutal. They're invisible, they growl, and when they pounce, full-on panic mode. Eventually you get used to them, but still. Compared to Stalker 2, where they're even more invisible, I can't really complain. Overall, the mutants are solid, but they lack that extra something. In Shadow of Chernobyl, those underground labs really stuck with me. Unforgettable stuff. But what really makes Stalker special, at least for me, is something else. It might sound cliche, but nothing comes close to the atmosphere of this series. I mean it. I've never played another game that pulls you in so completely. Despite the bugs, the janky combat, the aging visuals, maybe it's because I'm from Ukraine. The streets, the buildings, it all feels familiar. This game hits on a personal level. When you really let yourself get immersed, you start noticing the small things. The sound of the wind, the drip of water in an abandoned building, a stalker's voice echoing somewhere far away, the rustle of grass, the silence, and then an explosion, then silence again. You can't really describe it, you just have to feel it. More than once I just stopped and listened, like the game itself was breathing. It was like zone-flavored ASMR, but now let's break down what I actually liked, what drove me up the wall, and what stuck with me after the ending. Let's start with the good stuff, because like it or not, Clear Sky definitely leaves a strong impression. Not always positive, sure, but definitely honest. The atmosphere, it's the reason I pushed through to the end. That constant feeling of tension, isolation, and danger. And the best part, it's not forced, it's subtle. No jump scares, no cheap tricks, just the zone doing its thing. The world feels alive. Stalkers are out there, moving around, chatting, fighting, hunting for artifacts, sometimes dying completely on their own without your involvement. It's not just background noise, it feels like a breathing ecosystem. Those moments when just surviving feels like a win, like when you're crawling through a firefight with with no medkits, 1 mag left in your pistol, and somehow you make it, and you feel like a damn hero. The sound design, the music was the little ambient touches. You need headphones for this game, sound matters, even in silence. The zone speaks, that raw survival feeling. This isn't the kind of game where you're some unstoppable action hero, you're just a stalker, and a random bandit or bloodsucker can absolutely wreck you, so when you make it through, it actually means something. The silence alone can say more than any soundtrack, and when music does show up, it hits just right. Haunting tones, scratchy voices, rustling grass, that familiar Geiger counter ticking, it's immersive. Now, the downsides? First off, the shooting, especially when you unload half a mag right into a bandit's face, and they don't die. Like, dude, what? I'm aiming right at you, but the bullets just refuse to connect. Meanwhile, they can take you out with one clean shot. Fun dot. Then there are the bugs. Oh boy, the bugs. Sometimes hilarious, sometimes rage-inducing. I'm talking throw your mouse across the room levels of frustration. And of course, the infamous machine gunner section, but also the bus scene in Lemansk. Yeah, that cursed bus. I had to Google how to get through it. Turns out, well, you're supposed to walk backward. What kind of logic is that? Who came up with that? Also, NPCs sometimes sink into the floor, story characters freeze, and saves can bug out, forcing you to load way earlier than you want. Annoying? The faction war? Cool idea, but it gets old fast. You capture a base, walk away, and 10 minutes later, it's lost again. Rinse and repeat. It's more tiring than rewarding. Oh, and the NPCs learned how to throw grenades in this one. Like, really learned. They're scary good with them now. Too good. And finally, the ending. Look, story isn't exactly the main event here. The final moments left me confused. I sat there thinking, what the hell just happened? I didn't get it, but somehow, I still felt like I'd finished something important. Unclear, but meaningful. At least that's what it felt like. Clear Sky isn't about perfect graphics, a flawless game design, or even a strong story. Mechanically, it's old, sometimes broken, but it's not about that. It's about the experience, the emotions, the feeling of being in this world and trying to survive. It's not a game you play for fun, it's a game you survive so you can remember it afterward. And yeah, I'll remember it. That cold, damp, quiet, yet deadly zone. A place where everyone's doing their own thing, and your life means nothing until you prove otherwise. Stalker isn't just about shooting and mutants, it's a vibe, a mindset, a state of being, and maybe that's why it became a cult classic.